Hi Tara and Steve. Just thought I'd take you through a quick video to show you how I'm set up for prototyping at the moment. What you see here is an Ableton Push, which is a device that allows you to basically interact with Ableton Live. I'll send you the second part of the video. I'll show you how it's all happening on screen. I'll just show you the tactile part here. So this device here I used to prototype with, to work up ideas. Perhaps for one of the live performances this would be used in conjunction with playback, live input from the dancer and some sort of live control from an operator or DJ, performer, musician. So what we've got here basically is 3 tracks. On this track here I have some samples. It's a very short, glitchy sort of sample, so I can basically play all over the pad. On this sample here I have a drum kit laid out with some fairly aggressive sounds, just for a bit of fun. So let me just turn that on there. Okay, so I've got those, and then on the third track I have just a simple sine wave. So I can play scales and things on this, play chords, all sorts of different bits and pieces. So what's going to happen is that the input from the camera through Max MSP is going to trigger this sound. Okay, and I'm going to use the first 2 sounds as just a guide track, just a rhythmic track underneath. So what I've done is just laid down a little loop. I'll play that for you. Just using those samples. Now I could quite easily play along with those samples if I wanted to. So on. That's not actually what I want to do. On the second track with the drums, I could add some drums in here. So you can see that that's the device I'm using to help me prototype the work. What I'll do now is switch over and show you how things are going to work on screen. What you're looking at now is the Ableton Live environment, which is basically a type of digital audio workstation that I work in a lot. And as I was showing you previously, the Ableton Push device is attached to the actual thing. So you can see there's our sample. I've got a bit of compression on there just to make it a little bit edgier. Over here in the drum section, you can see that I'm triggering drums here. Each sound is a sample, which I can play around with and muck around with and slice up and do all sorts of cool things with. And then just with our vibrato, it's just a sine wave, so I'll just make sure it's coming from the push. And jump in here. As you can see, I can play around with the attack and decay of the sound, do all the various synthesized things that I need to do. So that's the sound engine that's happening behind Max MSP. So what I might do now is switch over to Max MSP. So this is Max MSP. I'll make the screen a bit bigger for you so you can see what's going on. It's basically an environment with a whole lot of patch cables and devices that are doing certain things. So let's have a quick look here. I'll try to explain this really quickly. It's very simplistic patch. A patch is a collection of devices and objects, and you can see they're all joined together with virtual cables. So what we've got here, start from the top, you can see I'm in the video there. So the camera on my iMac computer is just capturing what I'm doing. It's grabbing the data, grabbing the video and displaying it there. All of this mathematical stuff here, expressions and things, are taking the numbers that are being exported or streaming out of that video, and it's actually interpreting those and sending them to an object. So this object here is called find bounds. Now what it does is it finds the boundaries of the color that you're looking for. So for example, if I was to take a screwdriver, a blue screwdriver in this case. Now this the video is inverted, so I have to get my left and right brain happening. If I was to take that and tell MaxMSP to sample that color, so I can choose a color here. Let me just get that in nice and close. I've got some lights on so we can see what's happening. Let me choose, say, there, looks like a good spot. I'll just click on the screen. Now you can see some numbers start to move around here. Okay, just as a visual representation, I've got down here keyboard that you can see. You'll see notes being triggered as I move within that space. Okay, now it depends how I set my boundaries up and what colors and things I'm going for. I can do different devices. For example, I could take this SD card case, which is red, so not quite the same color as my shirt, but a little bit brighter, and sample that sound. So sample the sound, sample that color. There we go. Now you can see that it's tracking it a little bit better than it was with the screwdriver. Notice the numbers over here in the unpack section. Okay, so the numbers are coming in through there. They're being interpreted by the find bounds object, and they're spitting out random raw numbers, not random numbers, raw numbers here. What I then do is I then scale those numbers from between 0 and 1080, which is the resolution of the video I'm working in at the moment, and I scale those between 0 and 127, which are the MIDI notes and values, and that sends that through and makes a sound. Okay, and at the moment I'm sending my sound from Max. So I'm sending the MIDI data, the raw numbers from Max, into Ableton Live. So if I switch over to Ableton Live, I'll just put this down for a sec, switch over to Ableton Live, stand by for action. I'll just turn this down a bit because it gets a little bit on the loud side. And I'll switch this over so that it's receiving the data from Max, and it should start to be making some sound very shortly, as soon as, switching back to Max now, as soon as I bring that device into the field. It's sort of like a theremin. Now I've got a couple of things happening there. Okay, so very simplistic demonstration, but it shows you how it works. I've got these two scaled sets of inputs here. I've got one going to the note and one attached to the velocity or volume. So again, here it comes. So that's obviously pitch. And that is frequency. Volume. So, just for a bit of fun, what I can do, switch back to Max, MSP, actually I don't need to do that. I'll just start that loop happening. Might record a little drum pattern here in real time. Not too bad, didn't mind that. I'll just take a little section of that and just loop it down. So let's start our loop, say, yeah, start it there. And let's just loop it back over here. Now let's play both of those things together. Glitchy. Yep. And switch back over to max and jam along with it. Hopefully. Now what I need to do is flick things. See, there's a little bit of playing around there. Turn the track on. Now what I could do, for example, in Max, I could change the color, but in over there in Ableton World, I can grab a different sound. And again, this is just for prototyping. Let's grab something a little bit. Oh no, let's do something over here. Let's go this one here. It's quite a cool sound. Something a bit shorter. I'll drop that onto the sampler. Kick off that sample again. Now it's turn the other tracks down. Whoa! Volume. There you go. So that's just a quick demo of how the system works. There's no sort of systematic planning or framework there. It's just a matter of actually mechanically getting it to work at the moment. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I will be in touch soon, and we'll talk about how I'll develop this a little bit further. Great.